On a good day, you'd have at least 200 crab in here.
Biologists blame the rapid decline of snow crab on a 2018 climate-fueled heat wave.
And this is actually kind of a small one.
Now,
it helps us understand their movement patterns in response to environmental change.
Climate change isn't going away anytime soon. How does a population that depends on colder water then come back from that when the water will likely continue to warm?
Now, 6 years on, Ben Daly with the Alaska Department of Fish and Game is developing tracking devices to monitor snow crab and identify healthy populations for sustainable harvesting.
40 tons, $10 million. 2 crabs that might decide the future of our oceans. Out on the icy line between Alaska and Tasmania, one thrives on mass harvest, the other survives by being almost untouchable.
60% of the seafood Americans consume comes from the waters of Alaska. Among the most popular and threatened species, the snow crab.
In some parts of the Alaskan wilderness, the seafood is so abundant you can grab it with your claws.
Now, after a 2-year pause, fishermen are catching the crabs again. And as CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti explains, the solution to the problem could help other species rebound as well.
Clear!
But for commercial fishermen like Gabriel Prout, based on Kodiak Island, the water's looking murky these days.
This is the wheelhouse, so a lot goes on up here. You have fights, you have arguments.
But which model lasts longer when the seas warm and the rules tighten? By the end of this video, you'll see how scarcity can sometimes beat abundance at its own game. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
You have prayers.
Those prayers are for a rebound of Alaska's snow crab population.
Where have the snow crab gone?
When we first met Prout in 2022, the Alaskan Department of Fish and Game had just imposed an indefinite pause on the snow crabs.
These boats are specifically designed to go out and catch crab. So we're over $4 million in debt.
4 million.
Correct.
10 billion snow crabs, 90% of the species, had mysteriously vanished.
Here we are 2 years later, a lot of uncertainty. How has it been?
It's been extremely difficult. There's not a lot you can do.
Out on the Bering Sea, Volume built the legend of Alaska's king crab. Stacked pots the size of a small car, each weighing over 600 pounds, drop through the swell as the deck slants under cold wind. Every cage that comes up could mean a payday big enough to change a year's work. That rhythm of haul and hope turned the state's crab grounds into an economic powerhouse. But that same drive for mass catch is showing cracks. The fishery runs on speed and scale, tight seasons, heavy gear, and a crew that sorts each crab by size before tossing the rest back. It's a precision dance meant to protect the stock, yet the system hinges on abundance that doesn't always return. When the water warms and the crabs drift farther north, the fleet follows into rougher ground, chasing a moving target.
The warming event during 2018 and 2019 was kind of thought of as a lightning strike, and the concern moving forward is that the predictions are suggesting higher frequency of lightning strikes in the future.
That industry extends to fish markets and dinner tables thousands of miles from here. Prices of Alaskan seafood in some places have shot up nearly 60%. Other Alaskan species have also been impacted, including Pacific cod, king salmon, and pollock. According to NOAA, between 2022 and 2023, Alaska's seafood industry suffered a nearly $2 billion loss.
Fuel, time, and fatigue all rise with the latitudes. It's a model that thrives when cold water stays put. Once it slips north, everything else does too: the profits, the predictability, and sometimes the gear. Recent warm seasons have cut production sharply as the crabs shift out of reach, changing where and when the fleet can work. The numbers aren't just down, they're scattered, forcing crews to fish longer, spend more, and risk more to keep pace. Researchers link these drops to ocean temperature swings that redirect crab migration. Warmer depths thin oxygen, slow growth, and push young stock into new terrain. That change doesn't care about quotas or contracts. It simply redraws the map of the industry. So while abundance once spelled stability, it now exposes how fragile the base really is. Even the toughest fleets can strain when their strength depends on what the sea decides to give.
Volume is definitely lower than it once was, and that is affecting availability, obviously, and that affecting sales.
Kenny Beloff owns a seafood company and restaurant in the Bay Area.
What the customer has to be aware of, more of what you will be eating will be imported.
Back in Kodiak, commercial pots have returned to the water this season after officials lifted that 2-year ban. The moratorium helped populations, but the quota will only be about a tenth of what it was 3 seasons ago.
More of what you will be eating will be less regulated. More of what you will be eating will be caught with destructive fishing gear.
Down south, though, another crab tells a different story, one built not on surplus, but on scarcity. How can only 40 tons of crab a year grow into a global luxury? Down in Tasmania, in deep cold water where daylight barely filters through, the giant crab lives slow. Each one moves like a piece of living coral, thick claws, shell rough as old stone, and years between molts. The government caps harvest at around 40 tons a year, a number that hasn't changed much, and that limit has turned the species into one of the most valuable in the seafood trade. The catch is tiny compared to northern fleets, yet the value per crab climbs higher than almost any other crustacean. In markets across Asia, these southern giants are traded like rare gems. The quota protects the population, but it also builds mystique. Buyers know exactly where each crab came from and who landed it, thanks to strict licensing and traceable records. That accountability is part of the appeal. It's proof of authenticity in a business where origin defines worth. The work itself looks nothing like the roar of Alaskan decks. The vessel sets quietly over calm southern seas. Lines drop hundreds of meters before touching bottom. When the cage rises, the crew moves slowly, each crab measured, weighed, and logged before storage. The pace feels more like careful extraction than a race, and that control feeds both conservation and demand. The limit isn't a byproduct of protection, it's a design that keeps the stock healthy and the price high. Even here, climate pressure builds. Shifting currents and warmer deep water press into their grounds, threatening to change how long they can stay viable. But the small scale gives regulators room to adjust harvest rules before decline takes hold. Scarcity, managed with patience, protects both the ocean and the income. In fisheries like this, success is measured less by what's pulled up and more by what's left for tomorrow. The real contest lies between abundance and resilience. Abundance can build wealth fast, but stewardship keeps it standing. Every fishery walks that edge between what's taken and what's left behind. Out on the water, the lesson is simple: pull too hard, and the balance breaks. The fight isn't crab against crab, it's humans learning how much the ocean can give before it changes for good. What lasts are systems built on restraint and understanding. When harvests serve the sea as much as the market, both endure. The next wave of ocean wealth won't be counted in tons, but in the strength of what remains beneath the tide.